Now, it isn't a crime to be black because I'm black but have never seen the insides of a cell, but it is a crime to be proud of that. Don't tell me this isn't a fact. It's okay for me to walk down the street and enter a store wearing a smile, but when my clothing stands for something more, a flag of representation, nobody wants to be within a mile of me. Because for some reason, when society sees someone embracing their heritage, it means they're discouraging yours. They don't see someone showing their pride, they see flaws. They see nasty comments, incorrect stereotypes, and a chance to belittle, but that's what has me riddled. How have we come so far but still not far enough in so long? See, I'm surrounded by young minds in my generation that all carry that trait of no fear for expression. Most of those don't see past the colour of my skin, working a 9 to 5, and therefore refuse to let in what could be the change to our oppression. I hear more times than I should that we can't move on and we are still living in the past. So let me do the honour of attempting to show you all how a Generation Y grew up, still affected by all this past, real fast. I come from a mainstream high school in a small town central Queensland. Don't be fooled, I was born and raised in an urban area, yes, and for that I am blessed. I even attended an advanced class, and no, my Aboriginality did not get me a free pass. Free passes like toilet passes are what people seem to think we are given. If our culture gave us any privileges to life like a toilet pass in your second last period on a Thursday afternoon, I wouldn't be reciting my words today in this form to try and get through to you. So let's be clear. All Aboriginal people do not receive benefits on benefits in the palm of our hand. We are put through rings of circles to get anywhere in the eyes of today's society, which is what makes it so difficult to forget about those who declared the land. I'll grow up finding it extremely hard to connect with the Aboriginal side in my veins. I'll suffer in 2018 at 24 years of age because of the traumatic past and culture lost. I've watched my grandfather be told his parents' correct names. Years later. Don't sigh of grief for me, I've accepted this long ago. Be open to accepting the idea that we are not a violent people, a hurtful people, but people who just want what those before us wanted. Acknowledgement, respect, recognition, and our land back wouldn't hurt either, but who knows. As for ignorance, education is key. Put Australia's true culture and history in the curriculum and you'll see for yourself that we need to break this cycle of never-ending students growing up with a mind and a rifle. Locked, aimed and ready to shoot in order to defend their pride of being Aussie without realising what that is. To live in a country so multicultural is a gift, but in order to move forward at all must be understanding of others' rightful laws. I look at my friends and then I look at me. I'm usually always the darkest, you see, but what gets under my dark complex skin is when my friends of lighter complexion don't receive the same thing as I do when we're out in public or just meeting people for the first time. If there is a question in the air about Indigenous anything, you can bet a dime, it's coming to me. Because they look at me and see culture and pride, but they look at my friends and see otherwise for some reason. And that's what is wrong with Australia's views today of Indigenous people. Because I was raised to know that when it comes to black people, our pride and knowledge is not defined by the colour of our skin, but rather than within is where the truth lies. Break our skin and watch us all bleed the same blood. Watch your thoughts and idealizations accustomed with black people being lighter or darker flood the room from wall to wall. Watch your realizations change before your eyes as you come to view our perspectives. Watch your mind arise. The tone of your skin takes no part in determining how much of an Indigenous person you are. For my own friends of lighter tone have greater understanding of their dances, songs and history than I do by far. My dark skin does not give me a toilet pass to my heritage. My dark skin is a complexion due to my ancestors, and it is not something I regret, but something I wish people could forget on occasions. Just like my light-skinned friends who suffer the issues of our society being uneducated to understand, my dark skin works exactly like a stamp. A stamp I walk around in every single day. A stamp that has me labelled as one of them without me having anything to say. A stamp comes with a cost just like the ones in the shop. A cost of accepting that some people won't see me before they see my skin. A cost of understanding that on a public ride, people would rather stand than occupy the seat to my right. I pay the price of my oppression every day when I walk down the street and start to pull away from the people in front of me because I see that they are scared. And this whole time I thought this was the caring thing to do, to not startle them. So used to this I couldn't even see things through. As if my dark skin is a weapon is how it feels some days, like people see it as something I can use to intimidate them and others around me, constantly thinking to myself, if only they knew the real me. Is the price of my stamp, my skin, my tone, everything. People will never see on first impression what is beneath. So next time you think that the past is quite literally in the past, racism is dead and we don't suffer anymore, think about me walking that opposite footpath to not have to witness people watch their backs when I'm walking behind them instead. Or think about me walking to my corner shop and hearing people's doors lock as I pass their car. Don't be misguided by my rhyming ways. These are real events, real experiences, my experiences. So don't try and tell me that I'm not affected by Australia's history, because physically we might be integrated, but mentally we are segregated. And yes, it has faded into the depths of polluted air, but we just need to care enough to think of ways around this cycle that they tell us cannot be broken. Be outspoken, loud and proud. You hear us scream, dare to dream of a better world, and you might be looked down upon because of the size of your vision, but don't let that discourage you or your precision. Because although Generation Y might still have issues due to our past, we will keep persevering, and this too shall all pass. Be inspired, be proud, and remember who you are. Do not let anyone tarnish your spirit or belittle you, for it is who you come from that gives you your strength to do. My favorite thing I have ever put on paper is something I like to remember each day when I'm feeling away, disconnected, or down because our world still fails me at times. So I like to remember my following rhyme. From the darkness of my skin to the size of my thighs, from the fullness of my lips to how my cheekbones rise, ashamed I will not be, and my pride I will not hide, for I am living proof that my ancestors survived.